Hello everyone, welcome back to another video of Mr. Math Guy. Today we're going to be learning how to convert fractions to decimals and also converting decimals to fractions. So, first we're going to learn about converting fractions to decimals. Our first example problem is convert 5/8 to a decimal. If you watched the last video about dividing decimals, you learned that we can divide decimals by just using long division. Now, a way to write 5/8 is actually 5 divided by 8. So using what we learned from last video, we could use long division to do this. So if I write it like this, we can just use long division now. And doing so gives us 0.625. So that's really, whenever you're converting fractions to decimals, the only thing you need to do is just long division. So now we know that 5/8 equals 0.625. This is our answer. Next problem is to convert 1/3 to a decimal. You can pause the video and try to solve this on your own if you want. So again, we can use this. We know that 1/3 is equal to 1 divided by 3. So we use long division. Whoop. And if you watched the last video about dividing decimals, I'll put that link in the description. You'll know that some decimals repeat and they go on forever. So we can see that in this decimal we have 0.33333 going on forever. So we know that 1/3 equals 0.333 going on forever. And we learned that we can write that as 0.3 with a line over it. So 1/3 is equal to 0.3 repeating. Now, our final example problem for converting fractions to decimals is to convert 1/6 to a decimal. So if you want, you can pause the video and try to solve this yourself. Okay, so we know that 1/6 is equal to 1 divided by 6. That's where we start with this problem. Then we use long division. Six, alright? So then now we get, I think it's 6 that goes here, yep. And as you can see, we're just going to keep getting 4, and then we're going to have to bring down to 0. And even if we add another 0, we can see that it's just repeating 6's. So 1/6 is equal to 0.1666 ... And that is equal to 0.16 repeating. Now notice that this repeating line is only over the 6 and not the 1. The 1 has no line over it. There's nothing above the 1. But the 6 has this line over it. And that's because if we look at our answer here, the 1 isn't repeating. It's only the 6's that repeat forever. So the line in repeating decimals only goes over the digits that repeat. That's just important to know. Now we're going to focus on converting decimals to fractions. Our first question is to convert 0.25 into a fraction. Now, we learned that with decimals, the way we read this out loud is 25 hundredths. So we can actually just write this as a fraction. We have 25 hundredths, right? Because the place value goes ones, tenths, hundredths, right? So this fraction is also read out as 25 hundredths, right? So if we reduce this fraction, we get 1/4. So we know that 0.25 is equal to 1/4. Question 2, we have a repeating decimal. If you want, I'll make this easier for you. This is 0.5 for the line over it, if that's easier for you to read. But, yeah. If you can pause the video and try to solve this for yourself. Okay, so when we have repeating decimals, I'm going to write this down so you remember. The number of repeating digits. The number of repeating digits is the number of nines in the denominator of the fraction. So the number of repeating digits is the number of nines in the denominator of the fraction. This might not make sense, but we'll see what this is. So how many digits are repeating in this decimal? We can clearly see that it's only the 5, right? So we know the number of repeating digits. This is 1, right? So that means the number of nines in the denominator of the fraction is 1. So let's say we have a fraction. I'm just going to write it like this. A fraction. The number of nines in the denominator of the fraction is 1. So we just write 1, 9. And then at the top, we can actually just write the repeating decimal itself, the digits that repeat. So we just write 5. And just like that, we have our answer. 0.5 repeating is equal to 5 nines. If you actually, fun fact, if you convert this fraction into a decimal, you should get back this same answer. And that should actually work for this one too. But the key takeaway is the number of repeating digits is the number of nines in the denominator of the fraction. Again, I don't know if I've said this, but there will be a practice worksheet in the description so that you have more practice with converting decimals and fractions, especially with repeating decimals. Here's our final example. You can pause and try to solve it for yourself. We have to convert 0.372 into a fraction. Alright, so let's just count the place value first. We have ones, tens, hundredths, and thousands. I'm going to write this out for you. Ones, tens, hundredths, and thousandths. So that means in our fraction, we have 1,000 in the denominator. And we just put this in the numerator, whatever's after the decimal point. So, 372. Now, you may notice that this fraction can be reduced. And I actually know that this is divisible by 4, and so is this. And 372 divided by 4, I'm going to do that off to the side here. It's equal to, we have to write 9 here. And then 3. So 372 divided by 4 is equal to 93. Then 1,000 divided by 4 is just 2. 2, 5, and then there's a 0 at the bottom, so we just write 0. So then it's 250. 1,000 divided by 4 is 250. So by reducing this fraction, we get 93 divided by 250 as our answer. So there will be a practice worksheet in the description so that you can practice converting fractions and decimals. But until then, see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe.